In the late 1960s, Wall Street was in the midst of an unprecedented boom. Stock prices were soaring as everyone rushed into the stock market. But for Buffett, it was time to get out.
I was running a little over $100 million and had a lot of happy partners. And I wrote them a letter and I said, you know, I don't know how to play in this game anymore. The valuations have gotten to where I can't find things. I terminated my partnership in 1969.
It seems counterintuitive, but Warren has always quoted Gus Levy, who said, "Be greedy when others are fearful, be fearful when others are greedy." And Warren knew that the party would come to an end and at some point the bubble would burst.
Buffett was 40 years old and was worth more than $25 million. But he was restless, and in 1973 made a fateful decision to buy into a California bank called Wesco. The problem was, Wesco was in the middle of a merger deal with another company.
And the next thing you know, the company that was going to buy Wesco complained to the Securities and Exchange Commission that Warren was trying to bust up their merger, which would have been illegal. And so an investigation launched.
The SEC went through every nook and cranny of Buffett's businesses, and what they saw alarmed them. Buffett and Munger's investments were a complex spiderweb of ownerships and cross-ownerships.
We had drifted in since we had several companies, so the whole thing looked like so much spaghetti that had been done for some evil master purpose.
We didn't feel we'd done anything improper, but there were a lot of rules, and the question was whether we'd violated any of them.
Stanley Sporkin was director of enforcement at the SEC.
Anytime you find that things are so wired that they take a long time to be able to understand them, raises a suspicion that maybe somebody is doing that to get away with something.
What also raised investigators' suspicions was that Munger and Buffett were offering Wesco shareholders a higher price for their stock than they could get on the open market.
So we just kept buying until our allotment ran out, at 2 or 3 points higher than we had to. Well, that was a very eccentric thing to do, but we thought it was the right way to behave, and the SEC went berserk.
Trying to head off disaster, Buffett's lawyer made an unorthodox appeal to Stanley Sporkin.
And saying, look, Stan, even though this doesn't look good from your standpoint, I want you to take into account the character of the individual. In my view, meaning Rickershauser view, he probably is going to be the #1 person in the financial services industry of all time.
The appeal worked. Buffett's company was fined just over $100,000, but no charges were filed against Buffett.